Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Solar Soiree, your favorite astrology podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Taya.
And I'm Faith.
And today we are doing part 2 of the signs. So we're going to be talking about signs Libra through Pisces. And I'm really excited about today's episode. But before we get into the signs, let's discuss our soiree snack of the moment. Faith, what's your snack right now?
Honestly, right now it's like mango juice and hot fries.
Oh my gosh, that is such a random combination.
Yes, I don't know what's going on either. That's just like what I grabbed when I went to the store.
Yeah. Mine right now is sour punch straws.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
I haven't had those since I was a kid, but yesterday my mom brought them home and I was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't had these in forever and they were so good. All right, are we ready to start talking about our first sign of the episode?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
As you know, the second part of the zodiac begins with the cardinal sign Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign. It is an air sign, and its ruling planet is Venus, and it is a masculine or extroverted sign.
Yes. And remember, we are talking about the signs as if they were characters in a movie. So the Libra character in a movie, their role is usually like the pretty one. They're kind of superficial, shallow, like kind of ditzy, prissy, girly girl. They can be kind of like the dumb pretty girl, wearing all pink with nothing in her brain, but, she's dressed up the part and she probably has money because she is ruled by Venus.
Libras, I noticed they usually care about their appearance a lot. They spend like countless hours in the mirror, making sure they're all put together. Their makeup looks good, their outfit looks good. There's nothing in their teeth. Their hair is perfect, and that makes sense because they're ruled by Venus. Let's say if someone has a sun in Libra, they would be known for their aesthetic, known for their beauty, since the sun is like what you're known for. The sun, the area of life that's going to be highlighted for you. I feel like most Libras I know, they would rather like die than be seen looking a mess.
Oh my gosh.
They always like to look put together, polished. And I see they're like always in a relationship, always dating somebody, or always like crushing on somebody. I don't never really just see them doing them,
Yeah.
Even if they are single, they looking to be right back in a relationship again.
That's so true. Talking to two or three guys at once.
They could be like the boy crazy ones. I feel like everybody knows somebody that's like obsessed with men. Like that's all they talk about. All they talk about are men all day long.
Mm-hmm. My best friend in high school was a Libra, and she was definitely boy crazy. And then like Libras, they be the ones that like get in a relationship and then forget about all their friends.
Disappear. I mean, disappear out the face of the earth.
Yeah, but you can't blame them. That's just how they are. They're just very relationship oriented.
I think that's such a strength. Like constant. Well, I don't think you should constantly be focused on somebody else. Like you should focus on yourself sometime. But it's good that they always consider how what they do or what's going on will affect other people.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. They're just super naturally relationship oriented, even if it's not romantic particularly. Like it can just be their platonic relationships. They just always kind of like to have somebody by their side. Like I noticed like sometimes they don't even want to go shopping or go out to eat by themselves. It's almost like they need another person around them to feel comfortable in their own skin. And it's weird, but I guess that's what happens when your sun is in a sign that's dedicated to other people. They're kind of like rarely ever seen alone. Like they're always seen with another person because the sun is how you're seen. Libra is other people. So Libra signs are usually always seen with another person. And this is the character that is known in relation to another character. Like it's never just them. Like they don't have their own individual identity, like standing alone. It's always like them in relationship to another person. Like for example, I have a Libra rising friend, and like from the time we were young teenagers, like preteens, like she's always been in a relationship. So when people ask about her, they always ask about her and whoever else she's dating at the time. So they'll be like, oh, how's Patricia and Patrick, or, like whoever she's dating. Like it's always her in relation to somebody else, or.
Mm-hmm. Like in college, I had this Libra friend, and I swear we were attached at the damn hip. Like I have I have a Libra Mars. He has a Libra sun. And like we both Scorpio rising. He had a Scorpio moon. We was attached at the hip. I was always at his dorm, or he was at mine, or we were hanging out somewhere. We would go shopping together. We would go out to eat together. We would like go to the dining halls, and we would go off campus to eat. We would go off campus and do like other stuff too. Like we would go to the club, or like we would do this, that. I mean,
And that's what I love about having a Libra friend, though. That's how me and my best friend were, like in high school. Like when I had that Libra best friend in high school, we were attached. Like you did not see one of us without the other because, like, I'm a seventh house person, so I have like a seventh house stellium, and like she's a Libra, so like we just were always together and with each other. I love those Libra friendships though, because they really like care about their friends, like they care about the other people in their life. They care about you.
and you know, something I noticed is like when you watch a movie and you might feel like, oh, I think this person might be a Libra. They're like the one that's going through a breakup, or like they just got married, or they just got into a relationship, or they having a meltdown over a breakup or something. The theme of the movie is always about them in relation to somebody else. And as you know, as we mentioned before, they're like super considerate people. They want to be liked. They also want you to feel like you're cared for, like you're loved. But I feel like they can do it to the point where they're just not considering themselves. They're just like too focused on other people to their own detriment sometimes. I feel like they might go back and forth in their head, like weighing their options, or like, oh, like if I do this, this person's gonna think this, or oh, like if I wear that, I'm gonna be seen this way. I feel like they get kind of stuck in that mentality to where they don't actually like do something. Like in real life, it's just like everything is taking place in their head.
Yeah, weighing the options in their head like constantly to the point where they're doing that so much they don't make a real decision. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then I feel like in a movie, they're like always the ones that are going through some like legal matter. They're like in court, they need a lawyer, like there's some kind of crime in the beginning, and now they need to like either help somebody like plead their case, or they're in their own like legal spat, or they're like in a divorce or something.
Yeah, I could totally see that because Libra rules over legal matters as well. I feel like Libras were taught early on in life that being by themselves is uncomfortable for them in some way, shape, or form. Like it can stem from a number of reasons, like witnessing their parents constantly in a relationship, or it can just be because they just didn't grow up independent. They usually grow up with somebody close around them 24/7. So naturally, they find their identity in that partnership and in that person. And then they kind of grow up and do the same thing with everybody else around them. They're just so used to just being around somebody all the time that it's uncomfortable being by themselves. They can feel almost incomplete without the other person. As they grow up, they may drift away from, the original person that they were constantly around, but then they continually replace them with somebody else. They make sure to keep somebody close around them, almost out of like a fear of being alone. And a lot of times it's a romantic partnership, which is why they're constantly in relationships because they just find themselves in other people. They feel most alive in relationships. So even if they're accomplishing a whole bunch of shit in life outside of their relationships, they can feel empty without that other person or support system around. And in really extreme cases, they feel like they can't fulfill their life purpose without finding that relationship first. And sometimes their life purpose is to be in a relationship. But yeah, somewhere in life, they were taught that other people's needs were of emphasis. And this is where they develop the need to please. They're people pleasers, and sometimes altering their own true self and desires and personality to please somebody else. I hope I don't sound like a Libra hater because I'm a seventh house person. So like I'm talking about myself too.
And then I got a Libra Mars. That's my ascendant ruler. Yeah, that's like the main planet that's associated with me is my Mars and Libra.
Did you relate to anything that I was just saying? Or
Yeah, I was, I didn't realize how relationship oriented I am until this year, to be honest. And I was like, I thought everyone did that, but I was like, oh no, it's me and my Libra placement.
It's not just you. A lot of people are like that, but yeah, not everybody. It just depends on the person's chart.
I've noticed like Libra people, they're not the type of people to work super hard at something. They work smarter. I feel like that's the air sign way. You work smarter, not harder. Unless they have Virgo placements or something, Libras are supposed to be chill, relaxed, in a shade, sipping a glass of lemonade. We're not supposed to be breaking sweats.
Breaking nails. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Libra is Venus rule, but I don't really find Libras to be like a super materialistic sign. For them, it's more about the aesthetic. It's about how does this look? How does this, how does this make me look? How does this look on me? Is this what I'm going for? Like Leo is flashy. Like, does this make me stand out? How much attention does this give me? Capricorn is about the status, like, oh, what label or brand this is. Like, if I have this item, how are people going to perceive me? And Taurus is about like the quality, the comfort. Do I feel comfortable in this? Like, if Like if a tourist were to buy a blanket and it was like made out of some really cheap material, I don't think they would really have it for very long because it's not something that would bring them comfort. Quality brings them comfort.
Whereas if Libra had that same blanket and it just looked good, they would be happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Some words to help you remember the sign Libra, but it's like relationship oriented, people pleasers. They could be kind of naive or like super like nice people. And I would say also justice, law, balance.
Yeah, equality. And a Libra character that I can think of, well, Libra characters in movies are any characters that are like super relationship oriented, like we said. But I would say the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah. Oh my God. Cosmo and Wanda. Was he the only one with two?
He might have been. I think everybody else just had one Fairly Odd Parent.
Or he had two, and then they turned around and had a baby.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that's on Netflix now.
Oh wow, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. They was always together. They was never apart. And they helped him together.
And they were like a unit. They moved as one.
Big part of their relationship was them helping Timmy. They probably got Virgo placements too.
Yeah. And a lot of times you can see that Libras do have Virgo placements just because it's the next sign over.
And those are like the ultimate perfectionists. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
That's Beyonce. Virgo sun, but she got that Libra stellium. I mean, it's like her Mercury, her Venus, her Jupiter, her Saturn, her Pluto, all in Libra. You work with her, can't nothing be out of place.
At all. And I respect it. I like that. But yeah, so on to the next sign, Scorpio. So Scorpio is a fixed water sign. They are a feminine or introverted sign, and they are ruled by Mars and Pluto. The Scorpio character's role in the movie is the detective, the spy, the sneakies, you know, the ones that's always going to figure some shit out and uncover everything. They can be the ones delivering secret information or exposing secret information. The one that's like, oh, well, it turns out such and such happened. And they sometimes they don't even know that they're delivering secret information. Another thing I noticed about Scorpios is they are usually MIA on social media. They don't use a real name or real photo, if they use a photo at all. I have a Scorpio sun and moon bestie, and she did not have an Instagram for the longest time. She just had this fake page with a fake photo, and she just used it to lurk and stalk on everybody else's page, but didn't share anything about herself. And she would know the tea on everybody, and I would be like, how do you know that? She's like, on Instagram. I'm like, you don't even have an Instagram. And she's like, yes, I do. Like, I just don't post on there, and I don't use my face. And I'm just like, oh my God. Scorpios are the ones that don't say much, but they know everything.
Yes, like you mess up though, you're gonna find out just how much they know. They might blow up your whole spot. Like you piss them off and they gonna spill all the beans, spill all the tea. Everybody gonna know, you know, depending on what's going on. Like if you do them dirty, they'll air you out. As Scorpio rising, when I find out some information, I don't immediately share it. Like I sit on it for a while and I think about it. It's like, how relevant is this information? Like how shocking is it? Like how do I feel about it? And I'm not going to share that information unless you put me in the position where I have to tell it. Like, or if it becomes relevant for some reason. And like I trust the person I'm talking to, like, oh, let me tell you this. Like I found out last year, XYZ. Yeah. And it's like, or if you like upset me and I'm like vented to someone, I'll be like, you know, they did this and I should have known because they did blah 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 3 years ago. Yeah, I heard about that.
We keep information and sit on it until we can use it for something.
Yeah. And I mean the opportunity like always presents itself too.
And it'd be like, yo, I was sparing you. I really was sparing you, and now you just tried me, and now I gotta air you out. Now I got to talk about how you did this, that, and the third, and I let it slide, and now it all just comes out because I'm pissed off. Yeah, I definitely do that.
Like, oh my God. And something I noticed is like people just tell me their business, and like they'll tell me something and they don't even know that that information is like helpful to me. And like it'll be like the missing piece of like a puzzle I've been trying to figure out. Like I've been trying to like, oh, I wonder why XYZ happened or this and that. And somebody will tell me something. They have no idea I was thinking about that. And what they'll tell me will be like the missing piece for me to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. It's like, see, this is why I sit
Yeah.
on stuff, because if I would have made that known, I probably wouldn't have found out.
Like information just be coming to us, secrets and things that. Do you feel like people like tell you things that like they normally wouldn't say to other people, or
Oh
like
yeah, it'd
just
be like real dark stuff sometimes.
like they just feel so comfortable sharing like their darkest information with me, and I just be like, okay, I'm very receptive to it.
Sometimes I'd be like, oh wow. But the other times I'd be like, I would really like this to stop. You didn't even ask me if it was okay.
Yeah, oh my god, people do that to me all the time. Like I think I've tweeted about this before. Like they just be trauma dumping on me. I'm just like, oh my god. But like I have that eighth house Gemini stellium, so people just be like telling me all the craziest information.
Yeah, that's like unfortunate sometimes. Most of the time it is unfortunate. I'm never excited to learn that information though. Like especially if it's like real, like the trauma dumping. It's like I didn't ask for this, you know?
Really, I feel like your Pisces moon is like, I don't want this information, but I have a Gemini moon in the eighth house, so like feed me all the information. Yeah, I don't care.
So you don't care if it's like good or bad.
A lot of times, like I don't even realize how bad it is until like I tell somebody. Like if I tell you and you be like, oh my god, why did they tell you that? Or that's deep, that's dark. And I'm like, oh yeah.
That's another thing. If you have a Scorpio rising and you follow the whole sign house system, you have a Gemini eighth house. So like eighth house topics are like regular discussion to us. Like that's just
Yes.
stuff we talk about every day. Like
Yes.
stuff we wouldn't even bat an eye.
Yes, like death, murder, all those type of things are regular everyday conversations for me, like in my life.
Yeah. The other day we were literally talking about what were we talking about? It was like something really dark. And we were just like we kind of like made a joke.
Oh, I don't even think we should mention it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. We were talking about and I was like, yeah, if somebody heard us talking about this, we would definitely be canceled because people are so sensitive nowadays.
Yeah, it's like they don't want you making no joke. They don't want you to talk about nothing.
Everything that's a part of my normal everyday conversations is like super taboo to the world.
It's like sometimes y'all need to like not everything is sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
Right. Like life can be really dark, and I don't think that it's fair that you want us to not talk about it, you know. But back to Scorpio sign. In movies, they're usually like the background character. Like they like to be in the back to themselves because they don't usually like to be in the spotlight. Like they like their privacy. As a Scorpio rising in the eighth house, I'm realizing how private I am. Like, oh my gosh. So at our old house, my door had broke. And so like it wouldn't shut all the way. So like there was like a crack in it. And like I literally put a towel over that part of the door because I'm like, I don't want nobody to be able to see in my room. Like I am super like secret, like not even secretive, but just like private and just like I don't want to be seen.
Yeah. I definitely feel that too. It's kind of conflicting being a 10th houser and then being a Scorpio rising. It's like, oh, I don't want to be seen. Like I kind of want to fade into the background, especially because like my ascendant ruler is in the 12th house. It's like I very much like don't want to be perceived. I want to, be alone, isolated, do my own thing. But like I got this 10th house stellium though, so like I gotta pop out every now and then.
Oh my gosh, that's the same for me because like I have a Scorpio rising and an eighth house stellium, but then the ruler of my Scorpio rising is my 10th house Leo Mars. So it's just like I'm going to be seen either way, whether I want to or not, but I don't want to. But yeah, Scorpio is like the one character in the background, like while two people are talking, and then suddenly speaks up like, well, such and such happened a long time ago. And it'd be like the key to solving whatever issue is going on.
They know the secrets. It's like they know the background information about something. They know the history, like the dark history or something. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh my God, like they would be like the person that know all the dark stuff. Like, oh my God, this happens every 30 years. They knew like how he worked, his strategy, how he manipulate. Like they don't know like everything. And they've just been sitting on this information for years.
Yes, that's so true.
I have this friend, they're a Scorpio, and like our son's actually square by sign and by degree. He's like very private to himself. His social media profile is not even of his face, it's like something random.
See what I tell you.
And it's like he's not like super active. I feel like he mostly uses that social media to like be in the know of like what's going on. And he literally does not want to be seen.
Yeah.
He just wants to be seen. Like his son is Scorpio's son is in the 7th house. He really just wants to be seen by like people he have one-on-one relationships with. I feel like Scorpio characters, they're the ones that get an inheritance or they'll get be the ones that like rack up a stupid amount of debt, or they'll get like something that belongs to someone else. It could be like money or like actual belongings, or people often give them their resources. Like I say at the beginning of a movie, this character, like a tragedy happens, that their parents passed away and they're like sad, but like on the other hand, they inherited like property, all this money and assets, and they're rich, they're set for life. They have like insurance money, a trust fund, even access to like their parents' bank accounts. And like, and the reason everybody in town knows them is because of this tragedy. Like, it's like they aren't known outside of it. You know, Scorpio is a water sign. We like to look like we're like have this hard exterior and like we're tough, but we're really like sensitive. We are a water sign. We just are better at hiding it than the other ones. I feel like we're better at hiding our emotions than Cancer and Pisces, because you know the moon falls in Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want everybody to know like our vulnerability.
Right. And like it's just a private sign in general. So that includes being private with emotions and things like that. It doesn't mean that they don't have emotions or they lack it. They just are more private with them.
We
Yeah.
very sensitive. We like talk about amongst each other about how y'all hurt our feelings.
Yeah. Like you were saying, their identity can just like be wrapped up in tragic. I know the Scorpios go through tragic events, whether, it be they lost a parent due to death or the parent just painfully decides not to be present in their life, or maybe they experience a trauma of some type or abuse or the loss of inheritance that they rightfully owned and deserved. And like their life, which is the sun, can be kind of centered around crisis, and they understand that life and death are tied together. You can't have one without the other. And all of these things influence their life in the way that they live. They experience life in extremes. It's either black or white, one or the other, life or death. And they are, sensitive water signs, like you were saying. But their life events teach them to toughen up and project themselves to appear tougher than they may actually feel on the inside. On the inside, they may be crying, but on the outside, they have their game face on. And things definitely hurt their feelings, but they just kind of remain tough appearing on the outside.
Yes. One of the characters I think is a Scorpio is like Skinner from Ratatouille. He's the short chef. And literally at the beginning of the movie, we find out that he inherited, well, we find out later on he falsely inherited that restaurant because Gusteau had a son, but he was the like his successor basically. He knew like the recipes, how Gusteau wanted to run the restaurant. He knew everything. So when Gusteau passed away, he took over and basically he got to continue Gusteau's legacy.
Yeah.
Then you know we have one of my favorite signs, Sagittarius. They're mutable signs. Their element is fire. They're ruled by Jupiter and it's a masculine or extroverted duality. I feel like in a movie, like Sagittarius people are like the comedic relief. They think everything's a joke. They don't take nothing seriously. They will laugh at any and everything, including you. They don't take nothing serious. I feel like the only time they will get serious and stop playing is if you like talking about what you believe in. Y'all talk about politics, law, religion, spirituality, or like you're talking about culture in general. I feel like that's one of the only things they take seriously. They won't actually like joke and play about that for the most part. They're really goofy people, but if you like need some solid advice, I feel like a Sagittarius would give you some of the wisest advice you could get. They make you question morality. Like, yes, I want to do this, but is it the right thing to do? Is it the right way to handle it? They may be like really carefree people, free spirited, but they're gonna stick to what they believe in. They're not gonna let anybody like influence them. Like once they've found, their thing, what they believe in, and like a moral code to abide by, they don't stray from that. Yeah. If you do something that they don't agree with, they'll be the type of people to call you out.
Yeah, especially if it's something like on like a religious level or like something disrespecting somebody's culture or something like that. I remember when I was growing up, I had two Sagittarius best friends, and they were heavily into church. Like they were very religious, And when I would sleep over at their house on the weekend, like we went to church every Sunday. And then as we got older, one of those friends went towards the more spiritual path. Like she still believes in God, but is less religious. And she ended up going off to college, going away to college far away, and getting her degree or whatever. And the other one, she is still very religious, and like I follow her on social media, and she's always posting like Bible quotes and stuff. I just love how they're both Sagittarius, but they kind of took on the traits in different ways. Like one went off to college, and the other one is like very religious. Oh, actually, the one that's very religious, she's actually in college as well, and she's in a what's it called, a sorority.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I feel like Sagittarius is the character in the movie that can't be tied down. Like they're always on the go, traveling.
Yes, and that's very much them in real life too. But not all Sagittarius have money to be traveling. Like you obviously have to have the means and like the resources to be able to do that. Sometimes they just can't be tied down to their everyday life. They need the freedom to switch things up, to be able to just go everywhere, even just like the freedom to go on a random hike in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Even if you're not, not getting on a plane traveling somewhere, they just may need access to other cultures. So they might like to live in like a diverse area, have friends from different backgrounds, or they might be from a different country themselves, background of a different culture, and they're trying to adapt to a new one. So that's like there's the Sagittarius theme in their life. Like Katie from Mean Girls, she came to that school from South Africa, and she was like the new girl, and like the way people knew her, she was like, oh, she came from Africa, like why are you white? Even if they're not from another country, they could have just lived abroad and then came back to the States or something, and they're so different from everyone else because they've had the time to see how other people live life, and so they don't necessarily think the way we do things here is the right way.
Yeah, because they have like a different perspective now.
Yeah, like this guy I used to date, he wasn't a Sagittarius, but he had his sun conjunct Jupiter, and his dad was from Barbados, and he's from Barbados. But like that,
wow.
something like that, even if you're not foreign, like you could have like a father that's from a different country. Yeah, you could be raised by an immigrant, you could be an immigrant, and if you have that experience growing up, it's going to change the way you see things. You're not going to think about things the way somebody born and raised in the US would think about things because you've experienced a different way of life. I personally don't know any Sagittarius that are like culturally insensitive. They usually like very socially aware. I feel like Sagittarius or like ninth house stuff, Cancer placements, like maybe even fourth house placements in some instances could be related to racism. I feel like Cancer and fourth house stuff is more like nationalism. They could definitely tie into each other, but like race is more of like the ninth house. Jupiter is like Sag related thing because it's like your beliefs, and they're usually attached to like your lineage, your heritage, or like where you're from.
Yeah.
Like you found out someone like who's an abolitionist, mean they don't believe in like prison. I feel like you could see that by looking at their ninth house, maybe like their ninth house rulers in the 12th house or vice versa. But I feel like I never hear people talk about this kind of stuff. I feel like it's very much like the way people look at astrology is very much like a pop culture thing. It's like trendy, and it's like they don't even realize it's like their sun sign. It's like, oh, what's your sign? They don't realize like planets
are
involved.
Yeah.
I never hear people talk about race in astrology.
I definitely see what you're talking about when you can see like racism in astrology. And I can definitely see where you're saying like those ninth house Sag placements, or like even like the fourth house Cancer placements, because it's like your hometown. You're such a believer in your hometown. And the United States is a Sag rising, and they have a Cancer stellium in the 8th, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. And look how Americans act.
Yeah, that's my favorite example. It's like this country is very much rooted in capitalism and racism, and you can't have like racism without capitalism, because African enslaved people were the first like capital in this economic system.
Yeah, and it's all in the United States chart. Like it's right there.
Let us know if you want to see us do an episode breaking that down.
Yes, I definitely want to do an episode talking about the United States chart, because that shit is crazy.
Crazy. Oof.
And even if we don't do an episode about it, we will definitely do a post on Patreon or a video on Patreon about it.
Yes.
Because I don't know if everybody needs to have all that information.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially people are not willing to take it into consideration.
Yeah. I also feel like Sagittarius is the blunt character that's going to say what's on their mind and doesn't filter out stuff. You know, they just say the first thing that comes in their mind and be heavy on the I said what I said. But it's just like, Sagittarius, do you know that you can tell the truth without being blunt to the point that it's rude? Like, you can tell the truth without hurting somebody's feelings and being like overly blunt. Like sometimes it's unnecessary.
It's a fire sign, is Jupiter. Jupiter is expansion, Jupiter is truth. Jupiter is like the opposite planet of Mercury. Mercury is about filtering things out and logic. Jupiter is not about logic. Like, and especially because it's in a fire sign, it's just like they want to say what they gotta say as quick as possible and they want to move on. They're not trying to make it sound some way, you know?
Yeah.
They're trying to hurry up and tell you so they can go back to doing what they was doing.
Yeah, they're not trying to make it sound nice or super like a Libra or something like that. They just want to say what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, you know, because their fire sign is like Jupiter, like the most expansive planet, like being the biggest planets in the solar system, they're very expressive people. So it's like if they disagree with somebody or something, they'll be the type of person you say that they'll laugh like right in your face.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, then they'll tell you their opinion and it'll be like so raw and real.
Yeah.
No regard to your feelings.
Yeah.
They don't be meaning harm though. It's just like that's how they talk.
Yeah, it's just who they are. I agree with that. But sometimes they be going on preaching about stuff that they don't even know much about. I noticed that. I be getting irked.
Because, you know, like Mercury is data. Jupiter is not data. It's beliefs. It doesn't have to be like concrete information to like back that up. It's just like what you believe.
Right. It's not factual. It's not 2 + 2 = 4. It's I believe this, that, and the third, and this is what I believe, and that's it. Whereas people with more mercurial energy, they'd be like, well, that doesn't make sense, or that is not right. Or they'd be like, it's what I believe in, though.
Mercury people would be like, well, what's your source? Like, where did you get this information from?
From my heart.
Like, from my experience. Yeah, this is what I've seen. Like, what you mean? I don't need no source. I saw it.
Sagittarius identity gets wrapped up in what they believe in, like knowledge that they accumulate from experience and just the adventure of life. They feel like, what's the point of life if you can't explore and learn things that you didn't know before? Not the things that you can learn in math class, those are like more mercurial things, but the things that you have to live to experience and learn, those are more Jupiterian things. If you're not gaining knowledge, then you're not living. This is like how Sagittarius thinks. And no Sag placements wants to get to an older age without feeling wise. They're going to spend their whole life accumulating wisdom from different cultures and countries that they visit, from the different religions that they explore, to like the political world. Sag is focused on the bigger picture. Culture, philosophies, theories in the world affect their life on a personal level more than it does the average person.
Some words that kind of helped me get a grasp of Sagittarius energy is like freedom, wise, wisdom, cultured, knowledgeable, like moral high ground, adventure, kind of like jokesters, honest, blunt. They'll roast you, but like they can hurt your feelings, but they mean well. And also they can like take a joke. For anyone who's seen the show Insecure on HBO, I think Chad is a Sagittarius.
What?
Chad is a Sagittarius for one, because he don't filter out nothing. He don't take nothing serious. He always telling some joke. And I remember he was talking to his friend. His friend was talking about his ex and like how he was kind of like expressing interest in being back with her, or like, oh, she's with somebody else. She's in a relationship. And he was like, well, I mean, y'all broke up and you didn't fight for it. So like, I don't understand what you sad about. Like, it's like, he didn't care. He was like, well, you didn't fight for it. So I don't know what you was expecting.
Yeah, they're like that less emotional friend. They're just gonna say how it is.
Like, you let her go.
Yeah.
You gotta watch that. You know, like we talked about like another episode, we were like, Taya don't have no Pisces places because she haven't seen nothing.
I really haven't. My brother told me I need to watch Insecure too.
That's a great show. It's 5 seasons. It's all the way done. You can really just binge it.
Yeah, I plan on doing that one day. But yeah. Then you have the next sign, Capricorn. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign. It has a feminine duality and it is ruled by the planet Saturn. So Capricorn's role in the movie would be the characters that are bosses, business owners, the older or mature character, the more serious-minded characters that are hardworking and dedicated to their career or craft or making something out of themselves. They really care about being somebody and being successful. When a Capricorn is the main character of the movie is about hard work, making it out of struggle, climbing to the top of the corporate ladder, or the movie is about like just their career period, whatever it is that they do. The movie can also be about providing for your family, either facing your fears, because fears are ruled by Saturn, or letting the fears define the character in a way.
I feel like Capricorn's the type of people who would be like, bring you back to reality. Like if you talk about spending money or something, you realize you trying to do all this, and that. They'd be like, I don't know how you sit up here joking. You only got $20 to your name. Like, I don't even know how you can stand to be in your own company right now. Like, you need to get your stuff together.
You need to get it together. Yes, that's definitely Capricorn energy. Like, they definitely the straight face characters, the serious Sallies. Like, they are like, no time to waste. Like, you gotta get on it, get on your shit, and get to the top. Like, get your shit together.
I feel like Capricorns are straight up be the type of people that tell you something like real negative or like real dark, pessimistic with a straight face, like nothing. It's like sometimes I can be like, wow, do you have anything positive to say? Like,
oh my gosh, that is so true. My brother is a Capricorn stellium, and he is so negative. He's only 10. I just be like, dang, like you
it's Saturn. It's all that like malefic energy.
Yeah, like I'm like, you always got something negative to say. Like, can you think of the positive ever? Like, everything is so negative to you. Like, ugh.
It's like y'all just be looking for something to not like.
Saturnian people, they're just gonna see the negative side of anything.
And the thing is, Capricorns will say all that stuff, and it doesn't mean that they didn't enjoy it.
That is so true. Remember we were talking and I was saying I like my job, but I don't enjoy it. Remember when I used to work at my old job? I was like, I like it, but I don't enjoy it. And my Virgo sun is square Saturn. And then you were like, Saturn is the enemy of the sun.
It's just like the sun want to shine. I feel like it like rules joy. Saturn is literally like the opposite of that. It's not fun. It's not joy. It's like reality, being tested, obstacles. The sun don't want no obstacles.
Right. And not even just reality, it's like the negative sides of reality.
Like Jupiter is like you experience it, but you come out on the other side. Like Saturn, you might not come out on the other side, depending on what you do, how you handle it.
I understand why they are like that because they do have like a hard life story.
Yeah, I agree. Saturn don't be letting them have any rest. They do not be giving them a break. They probably look at Leos like, how are y'all able to live like that and nothing bad happens to you? Like, how is Saturn not like striking you down because you went out and spent your whole paycheck this week? They have nothing in common with each other. That's why like Leo and Capricorn are in conjunct. It's like there's a reason they have to be so serious. Like if they're not serious like that, it's like oftentimes they'll run into like a hardship. Like if they don't budget, they might actually like go without. If they don't budget out for their rent, they might not have like anybody to help them pick up the slack. Right. Like if they don't pay their car note, they're not gonna have nobody to help them pick them up, drop them off, all that. Like they will like dead be without. Like if they don't really structure and plan and restrict themselves from things.
Be on top of their shit.
Yeah, but it's like a Sagittarius. They go out and like spend all their money, and like let's say they end up not being able to pay rent. Everybody like, oh, you can stay with me.
Yes, every time Sagittarius is like irresponsible, something happens where like they're restored. Like they can spend all their money or they can lose all their money or whatever. And then they be like, oh my God, I don't got money for rent. First of all, half the time they don't even be stressed about it. They just be like, oh, well, whatever. It'll come. And it literally does come. Like the rent money comes back. Like something happens where like somebody just lends it to them or they gain it somehow. And it's just like, how? But they're ruled by Jupiter. Saturnian people, they do not feel that at all. Like they can't relate.
Yeah. Let's say like a Sagittarius call in or Pisces. They call in, oh my God, I'm sick. My car broke down. Oh my God, like I'm having a family emergency. I can't come into work today. Girl, a Capricorn, like or a Saturnian person will do that. and they'll get sick for real. They end up actually having a family emergency, or like their boss will see straight through and be like, "Yo, you lying out. We want people that actually want to come to work. You fired." It'll be like that. Like Saturn do not be letting y'all live.
Yeah. Like, damn.
Or you somehow your boss accepts it, you off. You go out and do some, try to enjoy yourself, and like somebody like rob you or something, or like somebody like slash your tires, or like you end up somebody end up trying to like steal some money at your account, so you have to spend your time at the bank trying to get that straightened out, and you didn't even get to enjoy yourself on your day off.
Yeah, you didn't even get to enjoy yourself on your day off, and like instead you had to spend a whole day taking care of responsibilities. Should just took your ass to work.
Yeah.
That's because they're ruled by Saturn. So like Saturn provides consequences to everything that they do. Like, and consequences just means the result of an action. So consequences can be good if they do what they're supposed to do, or they can be bad if they don't do what they're supposed to do. Also, Saturn deals with mortality and death. So a lot of times the Capricorn characters in the movie, their life, which is the sun, will be centered around things like death, or just like the realisms that come with living that aren't always the most positive. Capricorns, like, they've experienced those Saturnian themes firsthand, and it seems like to become like a huge theme in their life. And that's why they're not smiling, because they know how serious life can be. Like sometimes, you know, these Capricorn characters can also be like a character with like a deceased parent, or old parents, parents with health issues, parents that were really hard on them, you know, the disciplinarians, or they just witnessed their parents struggle in life. So it makes like them witnessing that makes them be hard on themselves so they can do better and make it out.
Yes, but the thing about Capricorn is they're ruled by Saturn. Once they finish with their Saturn return, they're gonna be relaxed, and everybody else is gonna be stressed out, because Saturn made them get their ducks in a row when they were young, and now that they're older, they're able to sit back and relax and enjoy like the fruits of their labor. They just have to put in like a lot of work for a longer amount of time before they can reap the benefits. They don't just half-ass something to be blessed like Jupiter ruled people.
I agree.
Like Capricorn's life, they're centered around Saturnian things like hard work, success, even like status, reputation, things of that nature. One of my favorite characters that I associate with having Capricorn energy is Mike from Breaking Bad. He was the one, like, he worked for Gus. He made sure everything was in line. Like, he was always like 20 steps ahead. He made sure everything ran like clockwork. And if you stepped out of line, like, he was going to check you. He was going to make sure you got right back on track, because he gave this speech about half measures, how he used to be a police officer, and he would get this call about this domestic violence, and it would always be the same person. It would always be the same woman, the same man in this house. So one day, like, he got tired of them calling. So he found this man, and he took him and he put a gun in his mouth. He told him if he like ever hit her again, he was like gonna like so and so and so and so. I'm not gonna say all that on here, but and he didn't do it. He just like scared him a bit. And the next time he got a call about them, it was because that woman was murdered.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he said, I took a half measure when I should have gone all the way. Like, I should have finished it. And now he's like living with the regret. I feel like Saturn is also regret. He's living like with the regret and like the consequences of having to deal with her death because he didn't finish. He didn't finish it. Super Saturnian, like the responsibility. He felt like that was his responsibility to like get rid of him, because she wasn't going to leave and he wasn't going to stop. So he felt like responsible for ending it. And because he didn't end it the way he felt like he should have ended, now he's like dealing with the consequences of that.
That's so sad.
Such a dark example.
I know it's such a dark example, but it's life. That should really be happening. Well, from one Saturn ruled sign to the next, Aquarius. So Aquarius is a fixed air sign, and it is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, and it is a masculine or extroverted sign. Aquarius, these are the characters that are weird, unusual, or have a special ring to them. You know, they're the ones that you kind of side eye sometimes, because you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, you You know, these are the characters that are on a different wavelength than everybody else. These are the characters that have a unique style, wear things out of the box. They be on trends before their trends. They're just ahead of the game with knowledge and with style. And like you might side eye them at first, like the fuck, but then later you be like jumping on their wave. Like I notice people do that with me. Those are the type of things that happen to us, like Aquarian type of people. We be on things before other people be on things. You have to take it as a compliment, but as an Aquarius or like an 11th house person, people be jacking your style. Like, cause people be jacking my style. Like I remember a few years ago, I had like this bright blue hair, like nobody else. I've never seen nobody else with this color hair before. And then like after I had that hair, like everybody at my job, oh my God, I have Virgo, a Virgo 11th house stellium.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
I was the first one at my job to get like this bright blue hairstyle, and then soon everybody at my job was trying to get the same like blue hair, but they couldn't find the same color as me. I'm like, y'all trying to be like me, and y'all can't even like can't even do it right. Like they could not find the exact same color hair as me. But then I just noticed like after I had blue hair, everybody else was having blue hair.
I see like people, they associate Aquarians with being like super open-minded people. I'm like, what Saturnian person is open-minded? If they're not as open-minded, it's a fixed sign. Like fixed signs aren't like known for being open-minded people. We're known for having our mind set on something, and when we set it, like that's it. Like we don't change it for anything or anybody. They are contrarians. They're not open-minded. They just have beliefs that may not align with everyone else's. And that's why they seem like, oh, they're open-minded. But it's not like they're open-minded. They've seen the structure, the way something is structured, decide they don't want that from themselves, created like their own structure. And it's different from everyone else, but they're locked into that new structure now. I feel like Aquarians, they will listen to your opinion, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to adopt it.
Yeah, like it's not going to make them change their mind, but they're open to listening, but they can still kind of be locked into their own ways of thinking about things.
They'll respect that it's the way you do something, but that's not going to make them do what you do.
Yes, exactly.
As an awkward third house stellium person, my favorite thing to do is like say something wild and see how everybody can react, especially because like Uranus is there. It's like, I don't know, it's like I can't resist. It's like things are like looking too peaceful, like everybody relax. I'm gonna say something like real wild to have people like, huh? Like what? It's like I just enjoy throwing people off sometimes. And
I notice like even when I'm not trying to throw people off or like have people have a weird reaction to me, I have like my Mercury in the 11th house and I have an Aquarius third house, and like the things that I say are just like, huh? Like it just makes people like squint their eyes, like, what are you talking about? Like
I decided that I'm never going to be understood like that. So it is what it is.
This placement kind of just forces you to be okay with, you know, not being understood by everybody. Like just, you know, you got to be okay with thinking differently and just being different, period. In high school movies, Aquarius are like the nerds or like the scientific genius, the anti-social or like the socially awkward kids. And they're not necessarily popular, but like everybody knows them. And like they can be a part of like many different clubs or groups. Oh my God, why did I just think of who was that girl on Zoe 101 who had the braces?
Stacy with the cotton swab.
Yes, wasn't she like a genius and she was super smart and she was like in the science club?
Wait a minute, that's not Stacy. Stacy was weird though. She was the one that, I mean, she was obsessed with cotton swabs and she had a list. But Quinn was the real smart one, the nerd one. Okay. She would conduct all kind of experiments and stuff in her room.
Yes, she was an Aquarius, or she gave Aquarius energy.
Girl, nobody wanted to be her roommate because she would do experiments on them while they would sleep.
But Stacey was definitely a weirdo too. She was different.
I mean, she had cotton swab jewelry. She had all kind of like cotton swab decorated stuff. I'm like, oh, I used to be like, what is wrong with her? And she would always talk about him too. That was very like a very strange child. Like, oh my God. Yeah, she used to kill me with the damn cotton swabs. And she's like, she would keep cotton swabs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was just so random.
You know when they went to prom and literally her dress had like cotton swabs and stuff on it?
Oh my God, no, I don't remember that. I'm about to look it up.
Something I noticed about Aquarian energy is like they're really intelligent people. They're super smart, but they can like not apply themselves sometimes. They
Yeah.
might not do well in the assignments or tests, but they know the material. As someone with a lot of like Aquarian energy in the third house, I quite literally refused to do one of my finals because I didn't like what she had us do. I feel like it was really racist, to be honest. I was like, why would you even assign this work? And I was just like, I literally just didn't do a final because I was like, well, I don't agree with the with
Mm-hmm.
with what you're asking us to do.
Yeah.
And like I would be the type of person like know everything. Everybody asks me for help, but like I wouldn't turn in all my assignments. I would just like
Yes.
not care
That's
about my
just
test. But I would know the material. It's like I just didn't care enough to like apply myself.
yeah, it's like we're like really intelligent, like we're really smart, but then like I don't know, something about the structure that we just don't agree with, so we just will like revert against it or like
Yeah,
just
we
go.
would like rebel. It's like, well, I don't really care about this enough to try,
Yeah.
even though I really do know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was definitely like the smartest person like in school, but like the one in class that everybody was trying to copy off of. But at the same time, just like I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. But my grades would not reflect that. It was so weird.
Yeah. I would do so well and I would not be trying.
Yeah, and it was like if I like the class, then I'll do what I'm supposed to do. If I don't, if I'm not fucking with it, I'm just like,
Yeah, if I feel
nah.
like this information is not useful, I'm not gonna be able to use this later on in life. I paid it dust. I did not care.
yeah.
hmm They also could be known for being like wallflower type people. And another misconception about Aquarius that I noticed that people have, they think like Aquarius is like this person that has like no boundaries. They just like anything goes. But Saturn is like Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. It's not a lack of structure. They just dismantle a structure and create their own structure. And those are like the rules and stuff that they live by. It's not the
Yeah.
absence of structure. Pisces would be the absence of structure. They live by their own rules, but they
Mhm.
do live by rules. It's just not your rules.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't feel like Aquarians are necessarily like pessimistic people, but they are like very realistic, like fact based. They need evidence, things like that. They're not just gonna go with something because it sounds good. It have to
Yeah.
make sense to them.
Aquarius's originality naturally causes them to like challenge structures and traditions that were previously upheld, but it's not always easy. You know, sometimes people give them shit for being so different and they get excluded or ostracized from other people around them. Sometimes the fact that other people shut them out causes them to go off and do their own thing. Or sometimes they have to fight for their individuality, as in people try to box them in and then they have to try to break out of the limitations placed on them. There's a lot of different ways that Uranus and Saturn can work together to like construct the life of an Aquarius. But yeah.
Some things that help me remember what the significations of Aquarius are like collective minded, like go against the grain. They're like individuals and like they dance to the beat of their own drum. Human focused.
Humanitarians.
You know, I feel like the Jupiter and Aquarius placement is like the humanitarian placement. I don't feel like Aquarians are naturally like super humanitarian.
Like, what do you mean?
They don't all want to help people. I feel like Aquarians is like they could be for everyone, you know, or they can really just be like they want everyone to feed into their vision.
Mm,
It's like off one for all or all for one.
mm, okay.
It's like either or.
Yeah.
I don't like I know Aquarians and some of them do like volunteer. They help people like time, money, things like that. They do care about social issues, but like some of them just are like focused on other things. They're not necessarily trying to do that.
I see what you're saying. An Aquarius type of movie that I've seen was Wally. Like the whole movie is Aquarius or Uranus theme. Because like one is in the future and they have robots, which is like technology. Aquarius rules over technology, cleaning up the earth, and then the whole population is on a spaceship, which Aquarius rules like spaceships in the middle of space.
Yeah, then space is an Aquarian thing.
And like the spaceship is completely technology ruled. Like they do almost nothing with their human abilities. They use advanced technology for everything. So Yeah, when I was watching that movie, I was like, this is such an Aquarian type movie. Like, it's so Uranus.
Yes. You know, like Nicki Minaj, her mixtape, she had like the space theme. She had like spaceships, UFOs in the background. She had like this very like alien-esque, space-esque aesthetic for her mixtape.
And she's in Aqua Rising.
Yeah, and she's an Aquarius rising too, and it like went up immediately because she was acting in her energy. Yeah, she was literally on the moon. She could see like spaceships, other planets.
And that's another thing. Maybe we can do an episode about that. But like when you follow the themes of your rising sign or of your 10th house, and like you put that out there, it makes your image go up in a way. Like, for example, that might not work for us because we're Scorpio risings, but like if we put like an album out, but it was like real dark themed and like dark colors and stuff like that, that would work out for us.
Brown and black, some kind of dark ass title with yeah, it would probably go. Then, you know, last but not least, we got Pisces. Pisces is a mutable sign. They're ruled by water. Their ruling planets are Jupiter and Neptune, and it is a feminine or receptive sign. These are the characters you can tell are like very sensitive. They speak from their heart. They're very compassionate people. They can really be artistic and express themselves through their words. Like they could be poets. They could be the type of people to wear like really like odd looking clothes or like really like they could like kind of wear things that don't match, or they could wear, like be really experimental, like mixing patterns or like I know like as a Pisces moon, I don't know, it's like sometimes I'll know like a pair of shoes or like some clothes is ugly, but it's like I don't know, like I still want it. I feel like I could make it work.
This kind of reminds me of Aaliyah J, because you know she's a Pisces rising.
Yes. And oh my God, yes. Yeah. Sometimes the stuff she be wearing, like it was this yellow purse she bought, and it was like big, like octopus looking strings at the bottom of it. And she was like, "Oh my God, I love this purse." Everybody was like, "No, that purse is ugly. I hate it." But she like she can resist. Yeah.
And it's like they have like an artistic eye. So if something is like artistic and catches their eye, like they can put it together and they wear like art on their body really well. Like she definitely has an eye for fashion.
Yeah, that's why I specifically ugly shoes. Ugly shoes are really my thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, what did SZA say in one of her songs?
She with dirty shoes, like dirty men alike. Yeah, she has a Pisces moon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, like you. That's crazy.
Yeah, I do like it when my shoes are a little like rugged looking, broken in. There's people be like, "Oh, you need like to clean them, or like you need a new pair of shoes." It's like, well, like I like these shoes.
You know who else said that? J. Cole. He has like a Pisces Mars and like a Pisces Venus. He was like, "My sneakers is dirty, my something is dirty, but that's how I like it. You all of my yeah." In Middle Child, you know that song?
You see how he have the Pisces places in his hair? Like he has like freeform locks. They're not like locks that he went and got sectioned off and twisted. Yeah. He has freeform locks. He has like this aesthetic where he doesn't look like super put together.
Yeah, and you know who else has that? Summer Walker. And I remember like people used to talk about her because they said like she looked quote unquote dirty.
Oh my God.
Because she had like, a lot of tattoos, but that works for her. Like she's beautiful and like, you know.
Yeah.
She has like a 12th house Venus. I'm not sure what her midheaven is.
Wow. I know she has a Cancer rising, so she probably has like a Aries midheaven. Either Aries or Pisces. Let me look real quick. Summer Walker has a Pisces midheaven at 13 degrees. Ah, that makes sense. And people always, people talk about the way she dresses and stuff too. One time she wore something, I was like, oh my God. She was like, I feel most beautiful when I look just like this. And she literally, I don't know where in the world she got this outfit. I was like, well, girl, like if that's what you want to wear, then I respect it. She got an Aquarius moon. Yes, and I just love that about, like, first of all, I'm a huge Summer Walker fan. So I just love that about her. Like, she just is so herself. She's such an individual. But anyways, we're getting off track here, but They also could be like musicians. I know it's like people I would call Pisces in movies and stuff. They're like a musician, poet. They wear like really like odd or like out there clothes. They don't have the mindset that other people have. They could literally be known for being delusional or like confused all the time. Because
Mhm.
Pisces rules delusion and confusion.
Yeah, they're like you said, they're the poets, the singers, musicians, photographers, even videographers, and just like the artists of the story.
Ooh,
Yeah.
most of like starving artists. Like Pisces rules charity, and I notice they always need somebody's help.
Yeah. If you know like real life Pisces, they are like that.
Yes, always need of assistance. Like I kind of think about Girlfriends, that show called Girlfriends, and how Lynn used to sleep on Joan. Like I don't think she used to sleep on her couch, but she used to stay with her. Like if it wasn't for Joan, this girl would be homeless, no food. Like girl, I mean, she would be in real bad shape.
Yeah.
Yes, like I feel like these people are so like really spiritual. They could be like super into yoga, like crystals, into like chakras, really identify with being an empath, or like they could be the type of people that can like manifest anything they want into the reality.
Yes, and that kind of reminds me of this show called 20s. It airs on BET, but this one of the characters, her name is Mia, and she literally was a yoga instructor, and like she used like crystals and stuff, and like she was like always meditating and like trying to manifest like things into her life. So yeah,
Hmm.
it definitely gave me like Pisces vibes.
Yes. These are the characters you can't really necessarily like pin out or point out. Like there's no one way to be a Pisces, but one thing about us, we're gonna flow, we're gonna change, and we're going to blend in. Like I feel like we are like the chameleons of the zodiac.
Yes, I feel like Pisces, these are like the directionless characters. They may not know where they've come from or where they're going. They're just going whatever which way life takes them. They don't usually like take control of life for themselves. They just kind of let it happen. And you might say, what do you mean they don't know like where they've come from? Some Pisces don't know where they've come from. Like, sometimes they can have parents that were on drugs or absent and they don't have a solid foundation, so they don't know about like family history or something like that, which is why they're so up in the air about everything.
You know what's funny? I literally know this guy. He doesn't know where he's from. It was wild to me. Like, is he Nigerian? I don't know what it was. Like, his parents did not tell him nothing. Like, he didn't know if he was born here or in Nigeria.
That's crazy. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely Pisces, Neptunian type of energy. I dated a Pisces before, and like he did not know his birth parents. Like his parents, they were like on drugs, so like he didn't know them, and like all he knew was like his adoptive parents. But then like his adoptive mother actually ended up passing away as well, which was really sad. But like he was just like so directionless. Like he didn't, you don't know where you come from when you don't have that structure going up, those parental structure. It's just like, you know.
Like, they could be the type of people that their father was aimless and wandered around. Like, especially if they have a Pisces son. And so they like take after their father. And now they don't have no direction either. Like,
Yes.
and these can also be characters that are homeless, like
Mm-hmm.
live going from from couch to couch, living off people like Lynn
Mm-hmm.
from Girlfriends. They could be the type of people that dress like they have nothing. Like they could be rich, but sometimes they could dress like they have nothing. Look
Like J. Cole.
dirty. Or
Mine is the looking dirty part, but like he be dressing regular as hell.
like messy, like they don't look neat,
Mm-hmm.
broke. Like always wanting to sleep, no job, like because Pisces
Thank
rules
you,
bums,
job.
unfortunately. Yes, like people with
and
no
when they
kind of structure, no stability.
And then when they do have a job, it's like an expressive job, like acting, filming, chilling, not hardcore physical work or labor. They're just like more chill
Maybe
jobs.
something that don't pay very well either.
Oh my gosh, I was working on some Patreon content and I was talking about like the sixth house. And when I got to Pisces sixth house, I was like, first of all, if y'all have a job, because a lot of Pisces sixth house don't be having jobs. Like for example, my brother, he don't got a job. My one of my close friends, she has a Pisces sixth house. She don't have a job. She just be chilling, living her life. She don't work. And when she does quote unquote work, she like babysits, which is a real chill job. Should I say that she sell weed? Like, is that like, should I not say that?
I mean, we're not naming names, but like it's pretty on
Yeah.
brand. Does she
She
have a
sells.
Pisces sixth house?
Yeah, she has a Pisces six house.
Girl, that makes oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. So she sells weed, and also like She makes cups and like she like decorates them real nice. She makes some really nice cups, but like it's real chill. Like she sells them whenever she wants. She also makes shirts and stuff like that, but it's not consistent, you know. And Pisces are also the characters that are just super sweet and nice, and but sometimes it can be overboard to the point that they get taken advantage of, unfortunately, because a lot of times Pisces lack boundaries, and they don't know when to stop or say stop and put their foot down.
You know, Saturn is boundaries. Jupiter is lack of it's not boundaries.
Same with Neptune, and they're ruled by both Neptune and Jupiter.
Yeah. They're the type of people to get a paycheck and they'll spend on something stupid and then they wondering, like they're confused why they don't have enough money to pay their bill. Like they'll give somebody their paycheck to help them with bills or whatever, and they haven't even paid their own bills. And it's like
yeah.
It's not a logical sign. Pisces rules like charity, you know, is it's opposite to Virgo. So it's like they're about service, but Virgo is like into doing a bunch of things to be helpful to people. But Pisces is charity. They'll just straight up like nobody has to assign this task to them. They'll just feel like they need to be giving away something.
Yeah, help somebody in need, you know.
Yeah, this guy's gonna be like a character has a victim complex. No matter what's going on, they always the victim or they the savior.
Like stuck in that victim savior conflict.
Yes, and this could be also like a character everybody think is so stupid. Like every time you get on the screen, it's like, oh my god, here you go. I know you're gonna say something stupid. Then or they be the type of person don't nobody understand what they're saying or they don't understand nothing. Every time you say them to them, they're like, huh? Wait, what? What was that? What did you say? Yeah. Wait, what? Lost all the time. Like it's like they don't understand anything clearly. And they could also be like the type of people that get themselves in trouble that was like completely avoidable, completely preventable. They'll really set up their own self for failure. Like and they don't even realize they doing it. And they'll be the type of people to like hurt their own feelings and like get their own selves into some trouble. But like they usually end up being okay at the end of it. You know, they rule by Jupiter. But it's like it'd be a mess though.
Yeah, it'd just be like that did not even have to happen. Do you realize that did not have to happen if you just did not do this one stupid thing? They be doing like dumb stuff and then they need help and then they need somebody to like help come save them.
It's literally somebody to tell them not to do something. They just feel like, no, like they know what's going on and they don't have all the information. They'll do it anyway. And then they need help.
Yep. SMH. This can also be like the character that's always falling in love with someone that they know they can't have, like somebody that's like unavailable in some way, kind of like Kim and Moesha was with Hakeem.
Yes. Oh.
She was more direct with it. Pisces more like to long for the person in secret, but like it was very clear that Hakeem did not want her, and she just kept going.
It's like she didn't register that. And girl, if he was talking to somebody else, she'd be ready to beat the girl up. Like she was not playing about Hakeem.
Yeah.
But didn't he end up wanting her though?
I think for an episode, and then she didn't want him, or something happened.
Girl, she was booed up. Yeah.
So you see how it's just like it never can work. Like it's somebody's always unavailable, or like, you know.
This could be the type of people that's in an affair too.
Secret relationship.
Something super scandalous. Because Pisces real scandal.
Like I noticed if you have like 12th house synastry with somebody, oh my gosh, I know this mistress, I'm not gonna say her name, and like I have like her chart and the person that she's having an affair with, their chart as well, and all of her placements fall in his 12th house. And so like you see how like he's keeping her hidden and like it's like a secret relationship. Yeah.
What placements are in his 12th house?
You want me to send you the synastry chart?
I would love to see it.
I'm so happy I have both of their charts too. So her 5th house placements fall in his 12th house. You see how it's like a perfect recipe for like an affair?
Oh my God, get out of here.
Isn't that crazy?
Wait, Sag Mars. She has a Cancer rising. Capricorn descendant. Girl, 6th house synastry.
They work together.
Girl, what? His Mars in her 6th house. And her Mars is in his 12th house.
Wow.
What the? Oh my God, I'm screaming.
That is so crazy.
Wait, hold up. He has a Gemini sun and Mercury. Girl, his sun and Mercury is in her 12th house.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she's a Cancer rising, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, his sun and Mercury is in her 12th house
as well. Yo, that's crazy. And you know, you peep how in his chart, he has a Gemini 7th house. And usually people with Gemini 7th house, they can have 2 relationships at the same time. But it's crazy because he treats both of them like a real relationship.
Oh my God, this is nuts. His moon is in her second house. He be giving her money.
Yes, he be paying bills, everything.
Wow.
And she has a second house Venus, so she really appreciates that. That's
Yeah.
like real love to her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Girl. Oof. Her moon is in his third house. They live in around the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like drive distance, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere local.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you gotta
Oh my gosh.
fly
Yes,
across
I
the
love.
country to cheat.
Right. These are her 4th house placements that are falling in his 11th house. And they obviously don't live together. So they are like separated in a home.
Yeah, they living in the same like neighborhood,
Yeah.
driving distance, but they don't live together.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we got to get back to talking about the sign Pisces, but if you would like to see this couple's synastry chart and get a full analysis from us of their love affair, then please subscribe to our Patreon for that. But as for now, back to Pisces.
In general, a Pisces sun doesn't lack ego, although it may feel like it sometimes. They just find themselves in ways that gives themselves away, like helping people or making music, art. When creators create these things, they leave a piece of themselves in their creations. That's why it can feel like they lose themselves in everything that they do. It's a contradicting feeling when being yourself involves converting to your surroundings. Instead of finding themselves from within, they find themselves in everything around them, which is why they have to take some time to isolate themselves and be alone without the influence of others so they can like recharge and like regenerate. Something Pisces taught me as a Virgo was that it's not everybody's life purpose to constantly be productive in life. Not everybody finds value in that. Some people are here to just vibe, and that's okay. Not everybody cares about making something of themselves or cares about being in the spotlight or having money or like cars or a good job. Some people are just here for the ride. No planning, no planner, no plans, nothing but good vibes, good music, and a good way to escape the stupid earth things that some people get way too caught up in. Like my fellow Pisces moon, Kendrick Lamar, said, remember what happens on earth stays on earth.
Wow. That's a really good thing to remember.
Yeah. That is so true, because like earth signs, especially, we can get real caught up in like these earthly matters, whereas Pisces, they're just like, they're not really giving a fuck about it,
You're gonna die anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like some keywords for Pisces would be sensitive, directionless, goes with the flow, goes wherever the day takes them. They're not too serious with anything. They don't take life too seriously. They're nice. They can be really friendly. Sometimes they can be like on the downside. They can be like a little naive or gullible. This can be good or bad depending on like how much they do this, but they are unconditional lovers, like for real.
Yeah. One of the characters like from Mean Girls that I think is a Pisces is Katie.
Why?
Is that girl's name Katie? Hold on. It's Karen.
Okay,
Smith.
Karen from Mean Girls.
Girl, Karen, she never knew what was going on. She was oblivious. She was like, oh, what? And it like it's like she was always like mentally checked out. Or she doesn't even say something that don't make sense. She'd be like, oh my God, like my boobs can tell the weather. She was like, what? They can tell like when it's gonna rain. Like it's like she was always like mentally checked out. Or she doesn't even say something that don't make sense. She'd be like, oh my God, like my boobs can tell the weather. She was like, what? They can tell like when it's gonna rain. And she was like, no, my boobs can tell when it's already raining.
Oh my God.
Girl, no logic.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, like somebody that I think is a Pisces too is one of my favorite shows growing up, Kenan and Kel. I think Kel is a Pisces. He was forever. We've never seen this man's house. Like he was always over Kenan's house, eating up their food, spending the night. Like, oh my, it was like kind of dumb. Yeah, he was kind of dumb too. He really oblivious. He didn't even have a job. He would always be at his friend's job while he was working, but he didn't have a job. Drinking up the orange soda.
Yep. A character that I think is a Pisces is Mama Odie from Princess and the Frog.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like she literally did voodoo. And she was blind, but literally felt her way through life spiritually and physically. And what else?
She was very isolated. She literally lived in the middle of the forest in like a tree house. Girl, she lived in a damn tree house.
Yeah.
Around all the animals and stuff.
And she was like the old, like kind of woozy, like old lady.
I feel like Pisces are the type of people, they'll like go somewhere and animals will just be attracted to them like they're Snow White or something. Like animals feel like really comfortable around these people.
Oh my God.
No, I know multiple Pisces who say like when they were children, like animals talk to them, or like they could like communicate with animals, or they felt like especially connected with animals. They just have this sort of like compassion for animals. But so now that we're done with all of the signs, we're going to play the character game before we end out this episode. So in the character game, we name a character from a movie or TV show and guess what their sign is and why we think that that is their sign. So since this episode was about the signs Libra through Pisces, we will pick characters that we think are within those signs. So my first character would be Ryan or Regina Hall from Girls Trip. I feel like she was a Libra because she was the one that was in a relationship the whole time, and when one relationship was over, she hopped in another one. I feel like she was like a 10th house Libra sun because her career was based on her relationship, and her relationship was very public. And she always tried to hold her relationship together in public, like everything was fine, even though her man was cheating on her.
Oh my God. For me, I feel like Elle from Legally Blonde was a Libra. Oh my gosh, she's blonde hair, like super like ditzy, like she's like really gorgeous girl. Nails always done, hair always done, skincare, makeup, outfit, shoes, always look nice, always look put together. Super into her relationships. Like literally the beginning of the movie is about her and her boyfriend, her and Warner, and like their breakup.
And like we said earlier in the episode, like the Libra character, their storyline is always about like a relationship, and then they be going through breakups and shit like that.
She literally went to Harvard where he was going, got into Harvard and studied law so she could like impress him, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
So Libra-esque.
And then she ended up with somebody else, and then she like ended up becoming like a lawyer, and she ended up like fighting against like this animal abuse case. They were like testing these cosmetic products on animals, and she like got to stop. And then this other one, she was like in a court scene, and she like proved somebody guilty based on like something. She was like, oh, she washed her hair, but like, but she got a perm, and you can't wash your hair. It's a certain amount of hours after you had a perm. Girl, it was like, it's very Libra. The legal aspect and like the beauty and stuff.
Do you have another character? I don't really have another character.
I do. Nemo. I feel like Nemo was either a Sagittarius or a Pisces. It's like he's literally known for being lost. Literally, the name of the movie is called Finding Nemo because nobody knew where the hell he was. Pisces represents like things that are lost, confused, but like I feel like he has like the spirit of a Sagittarius. Like he just wanted to explore everything, but his dad was trying to keep him in the area out of fear, you know. And he ended up, you know, getting, you know, do something bold, go doing what they want to do, like a typical Sag would do. Like when somebody tries to come find them, gonna swim all the way out there, and it would have been fine, but like he was swimming back, but somebody snatched him up, you know, kidnapping. I think kidnapping is like a Pisces thing.
Yeah,
because you end up being in like an isolated situation. No one knows where you're at. You're lost. Yeah, and then they had to spend the rest of the movie exploring the ocean, finding him.
He was definitely a Pisces with like some type of Sag energy, you know.
Yeah, like and he was just oblivious to the dangers, like of his surroundings.
Even though his dad was so like
hyper aware.
Yeah,
I really love the character game. I want to do a whole episode doing it one day.
Yeah.
I gotta watch more movies first. You know what I realized? I've seen a lot of older movies like from my childhood, but like now that I'm an adult, I don't really watch movies like that. And I feel like that's because when I was a kid, all I did was watch movies because of my Pisces 4th house. And like now that I'm older, I've moved more into like my Virgo 10th house. Because I feel like when you're a child, you relate more to your 4th house placement. And as you grow into an adult, you relate more to your 10th house placement. So yeah, now that I'm an adult, I really do watch TV.
More of the thing of the past.
Yeah, like all my examples were like older. Well, not really, because Girls Trip just came out recently. But like, I really know like older movies and kid shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have reached the end of this episode all about the signs. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed recording it for you guys. Our next episode airs next Sunday. The next episode is going to be all about the planets in astrology, so stay tuned for that one. That's going to be a really good episode. In the meantime, you guys can subscribe to our Patreon if you want to hear more from us. We are very active on Patreon and we post a lot on there, and our entry tier is only $2.80. So if you just want to help provide some extra support to us, we really appreciate all of our Patreon members. If you want to keep in touch with us more without following us on Patreon, you can follow us on social media. My Twitter and Instagram is @_HeyAstrology.
You can follow me on Twitter @FaithAstrology, and we have our Instagrams @Solar Soiree. Make sure you leave us 5-star rating and a positive comment. And thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.